welcome back to Coding Badly. It's so good to be here. My name is Joe, and I will be joined once again by my wonderful co-host, Kevin. How are you doing, Kevin?
Hello. Better than you, mate. You have a bad cough, but other than that, all good. Happy 2022.
I was like, get Kevin on so fast before the coughing starts. So I am here, but I will be taking a back seat today because I am coughing every 30 seconds. I've got my honey tea. But we are very excited to be back because, it's been a while. Welcome to Coding Badly. If you are new in these parts, Coding Badly is a Battlesnake show where we push the boundaries of what can be done with Battlesnake in delightful and inventive ways, often very silly ways, and all of it done incredibly badly. And today, we are kicking off what will be a new series, which we are calling the Relay Snake. So let me throw up just a little bit of information about what is going on today, and we'll see how long my throat gets through. Otherwise, we'll flawlessly hand over to Kevin, who will walk us through the
I've got it. Don't you worry, mate. You
so
just try your
prepared.
best.
Okay, so first up, we are kicking off here on the Battlesnake Twitch show, on Battlesnake Twitch channel, at the start of what will soon be the Spring League. Registration is now open if you have not played Battlesnake before. It is a competitive programming game where you build the AI to a little snake which will go up against other snakes written by other programmers in multiplayer arenas, and it has seasonal leagues, and the Spring League is starting very soon and will be running through until March. Loads of prizes, loads of great shows, really great opportunity to get involved with Battlesnake. It is ranked and there are different tiers, and basically what I'm getting to here is no matter where you are in your Battlesnake journey, you'll be matched with snakes of your level, and it'll be a wonderful chill time. So I highly recommend you sign up. And throughout the Spring League, we will be building this Relay Snake from Feb 3rd to 19th of May, going way past Spring League and ending up butting up against the Summer League here on the Coding Badly show. And the Relay Snake, the idea here is that over the course of 8 shows, roughly every 2 weeks, there's a bit of a gap for one of them, we will have on 8 different guests who will all be contributing to one snake. The catch here being also that this is the Coding Badly show, and we have some wonderful creative guests lined up. So we expect the snakes are going to go off the rails really quick. Actually, it sounds like it's going to go off the rails a lot quicker than we anticipated, which is very exciting. So each week, a guest will come on, contribute to the snake here on the show, live code review, me and Kevin, and then commit that code. And then the next guest will have roughly 2 weeks to work out what on earth is going on before they join you here on the show to add on to that snake. And we have some wonderful guests lined up already. You can see the full schedule and the current state of the code at github.com/JoeNash/Coding Badly Relay. It's currently the JavaScript starter snake, so not a lot to see there, but by the end of the show, we will get the next lot of code in there. And this is our schedule thus far. So I'm going to move to the side. We have Corey kicking us off today, who will introduce shortly. The Mason Egger from DigitalOcean, who will be taking over next week. Then we've got Gary Hockin from Twilio, Naomi Carrigan, and Penelope Zone. Penelope's right in the middle, which was a intentional choice by them because they wanted to right the ship, which sounds like it's going to be good. I have no idea what Gary or Naomi have planned, and I have a little bit of a tidbit for Mason, but let's hear what Corey has planned and bring Corey on right now.
While you're getting Corey on
wheel.
quickly, Corey, you're a settings wheel. While you shed your settings wheel, VJ in the chat, petition to call this Coding Even Worse, or anything you can do, I can do worse. And I am here for this.
Yeah, that's perfect. Corey, why are you a settings wheel?
That is a great question. Why am I a settings wheel?
This feels like we're in like a witness protection scheme or something. It's like we've altered the appearance of the witness to protect their identity.
Right? Where is this coming from? I'm wondering.
I don't know.
Where is my... Oh, there we go. I fixed it.
Hello, Corey.
I fixed it. Hello.
We are joined by Corey and not a settings wheel. Hello, welcome back. It's been a while since we've had you on this particular show, but you've been streaming with Penelope recently, right?
Yeah, I've done some... I did Saturday with Penelope. We got Raft working on our snakes, so that was fun.
Perfect.
And yeah.
Well, for those of the viewers who haven't yet had the pleasure of meeting you, would you like to briefly introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'm a software engineer, mostly doing web stuff nowadays, and found Battlesnake about 6 or 8 months ago now. And have been diving into the leagues and having a good time. Really enjoy coming on stream and chatting with people today. Should be a good time.
Wonderful. And what is the name of your current top tier snake that you have
Oh,
rattling
so
around ready for
the
Spring
new
League?
one, is Hovering Hobbs is going to be my new spring lead snake, and we're going to see how they do. They're doing pretty good so far in the Wrapped arenas. So yeah, Wrapped is going to be a fun game mode. I'm excited for this year.
How are you finding it so far? Because it was announced last week on Brad's show, so I guess you're the first developer I've had a chance to speak to about it. How has it changed how you approach your snake?
Yeah, so I got real lucky in that I was already working on Hobbs, and he seems like he's going to work out really well for Wrapped. So area control seems to be well. The most crazy thing is watching these Wrapped games. They are a little crazy. So it'll be a fun time seeing them get shouted.
Yeah, we've had this problem. When we did the team Battlesnake game mode, squads, that's what it's called, we discovered very quickly as the casting crew that it was difficult to cast, and it didn't occur to me until halfway through Brad's show last week that I have to cast the Wrapped games, and I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to do with that, so that's going to be fun.
Amazing. For those of you who might not know what it is, it might be worth just quickly explaining it. In traditional Battlesnake modes, if you hit the wall, you're done. But in Wrapped, you wrap around to the other edge of the board.
Yeah, I actually, let's have a quick look at some games. So where's Hovering Hobbs? Up there in 6th. There we go, it's a win. Let's have a look. So this is Corey Snake, Hovering Hobbs. So normally those wall collisions, as Kevin said in this game, there is in Demifem in this game. Oh, that's very fast. But yeah, so as you can see, they're going for the walls, and yeah, that's fun to follow. Also, it goes on a really long time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've seen games go to like 850 turns, I think, so far in Wrapped. So we're in for some long games this year. It'll be exciting.
Wrapped seems like it would make like really good screensavers. It's just every snake just kind of minding its own business and getting on with it. Very cool. Nice. So, you have the, let's call it, dubious honor of kicking off the relay snake. How are you feeling about that? Setting the direction for eight developers following you. 7 developers following you, rather.
It's a little bit of pressure, but in Coding Badly style, I feel like everyone's going to do kind of their own thing. So I think it'll be great.
I think that's accurate. I'm gonna mute. Kevin, your turn.
Yeah, I'm not coughing. I think we're probably at the point where we should get your screen share up, and we can talk through maybe the starter snakes. So what we're doing is, we have a set of starter snakes where some of that core logic is already built for you, and this is one of those. We thought we'd start with that.
Yeah, so we'll just walk through this really quick. This is the JavaScript starter snake. It's Express, so in our index file here, we just set up the routes, the start, the move, the end, and our info route. And then we just listen on a port. And at the moment, all of the logic for moving is in this logic.js file, which has some nice comments that I think I'm probably going to ignore for today because we're going to go in a different direction, and that's okay. But basically, I think this right now is trying to have us pick a move that won't kill us automatically. We're not going to run into our neck right away. And I think that's all we get started.
Yeah.
And that's about all. So we've got it running over here. Oh, if you looked, don't steal my URL and DDoS my ngrok, please. Hee. But yeah, we're ready to get started here. The snake is pretty simple to begin with. So yeah. And I thought something that might be fun to do today is the Go rules for Battlesnake are open source, which is awesome. And they're written in Go. Can make this huge.
Zoom in on that. Perfect. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, exactly. But they're written in Go, and we're writing JavaScript today. And I decided, because it sounded fun, that I didn't want to rethink about the rules repo or the rules and re-implement them in JavaScript. I didn't want to think about how to figure out head-to-head collisions for snakes and stuff. So I think what we're going to do instead is we're going to work on compiling this Go rules down to a WASM module, WebAssembly module, that we can then load into our node snake. And from there, not have to worry about the game logic and get it, as close to official as we can get.
This is an approach.
This
is an approach.
Okay. So for newer folks in the chat, talk to us a little bit about the rules repo. So what are the rules, and how do you use this when you're developing a Battlesnake?
Yeah, so the rules repo is, I think what runs at play.battlesnake.com when you make requests and everything. And there's, some files we can look at, like, let's look at the Royale mode at the moment. So there's different game modes, have their own different, I think they're called modules in Go. Go is not my primary language, but I think we'll make it
Perfect
through.
place to start in the relay then.
Yeah, exactly, right? And the main function that I end up using when I look at this is the create next board state. So you give it a previous board state, and you give it some snake moves, and eventually, it does all of its logic inside, decides if we need to populate hazards, runs standard game, and basically what it returns to you is a new board state. So you give it an old one and some moves, and it tells you what the new one's going to look like. And this is basically going to be the interface, I think, that we want to work with. We're going to figure out how to get our current game state from the JSON, maybe make some moves, and see what the next board state looks like.
Perfect. So this would be useful. Go on.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say,
you go. Right, it's me. All right, I'm doing it. So Gary's here in the chat, and Gary's one of our guests in a couple of episodes' time, and I'm just sensing him like curling up into a ball and regretting every decision that's led him up to the point where he's going to have to pick up after you.
So, on that note, just thinking about the kinds of Battlesnakes where you would want to generate. So this is, generating a new board snake given a move. So you mentioned head-to-head collisions. So this is like, not deciding the next move that our snake is going to take, but if you wanted to simulate into the future. So when you're doing basically game tree snakes, right? This is the approach that this is leading us into. Yeah,
that's what I was kind of thinking, right? Or I've used it in even slightly less tree states. If you just want to decide if something runs into a wall.
Look ahead a little bit. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think we'll get started there, and we'll see where we go.
I'm excited to see. I mean, A, I have not yet had a chance to play with WASM, and B, I did not realize you could compile Go to WASM for a start. So that's amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's probably where we can get started is, let's write some Go and see if we can compile it to WASM and see where we go. Okay. So we have our repo with JavaScript, which is great, except I want a place to write some Go code. So I'm just going to make a new directory here so that we have a place to go. Let's make a Go WASM directory. Refresh my thing. Okay. Oops. Let's make a. Whoa. Okay. My Vim doesn't like being so small. That's okay though. Let's make a Go file. So we want to make a main.go file so that we have some going to do. And then this is, I think, how we get some Go started. We tell it what package it is. We tell it what imports we need. I don't know if we need any imports to start. And then we need a main function. Oh, functions are func like this. Except I don't think we have print line in Go. That's just not how this works. What we have
I'm learning a lot about Go. This is a fantastic tutorial.
Format.println. I think that's what we need, except then to do format, we need to throw it in our import. Okay. This, I think, will give us something that we can compile with Go. And I'm totally not looking on my other monitor to find my Go build script that I have written down. Okay, so let's just try building this like a normal Go file first and see what happens. Hey, look. It ran, but nothing happened. Oh yeah, in traditional coding style, I am not used to Go, but I remember that we need another file here. So you have your main file that actually runs the Go, and I think we've got it's called go.mod. This defines the module in Go, and I'm 100% messing up all of my words here because I don't know what I'm talking about.
We're following it. It looks like it's making sense from what we can see on the screen.
We're going to give you a version of Go that I think is what I have locally. And
as ever, the reason we maintain the brand of Coding Badly for the show is psychological safety for us and guests. You can't expect us to know what we're talking about. You're watching Coding Badly. You get what you signed up for.
Exactly, right? Okay, so let's just give this an out directory, and maybe that's what this needs. Out already exists. Okay. Well, there's nothing in it, though. Out, do I just have to give it a file name? Ah. Okay. So we're making progress. I think we have a thing I can run. Hey, look at that. We can run some Go code.
Perfect.
So we can run some Go code, but this is just like normal old boring Go. I just compiled it for my computer and ran it, which, isn't quite as fun as I think what we want to do. But what's really cool about Go that I really like is it's really, really easy to compile this for WebAssembly. So we set the Go OS environment variable to JS.
Right.
I'm glad you called it Go OS. I was like, what's Goose? Goose?
I did it live. I read it. I'm like, ooh, that can't be a goose. That's got to be something a little better.
You also got to set the Gorch, of course. You can't forget to set your Gorch.
Yeah, you got to set your Gorch to WASM, obviously. So we got to set the OS to JS and the architecture to WASM. And now we can build ourselves a little WASM file. We can look at this now. It's a binary. It doesn't actually want to open, but that's okay.
So sorry to jump in with a question here. So this is Go's compiler building it to WASM. Like Go's native compiler targets WASM.
Yep, it does. Cool. It does. And if you try to cat it, it doesn't look good. So maybe not the most helpful.
That does look like a terminal's interpretation of assembly.
Yes.
Sorry, completely irrelevant question. What's the hamster in your prompt?
It's from, I think it's called Starship, is the Rust prompt that I use.
Cool. Yeah.
And I think this is telling me what version of, I'm in a Go thing, so it might be telling me which version of Go it's using. I don't know why it's a hamster, though. That one,
there's no gopher emoji, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's that. Maybe it's supposed to be a gopher. Yeah, that one. Okay, that seems reasonable.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, super neat. That's built into the native Go toolchain. That's awesome.
Yeah, so we can compile both to a binary that I can run on my machine, but also to the WASM, and the WASM's what we're going to use for most of this. And then I'm just going to do this as a convenience. I'm just going to write a little build script that I can run so I don't have to retype out this command a lot, because we're going to be compiling this a good bit. Awesome. Let's make it executable. What did I call it? I called it build. Awesome. And now I can just run build. Build. What did I didn't do dot plus x. S is not what I wanted. Hey, look at that. Okay. So we've got our script, and Go can compile to WASM. And Go actually provides something else extra that we're going to need here. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to Google for it super well, but yeah, so I think this is close enough. We're going to look at this file. Nope, that's not what I want. What Go gives you, here, I guess I can just do it this way in my terminal. There's also, so WASM is like kind of like an assembly language. So it's like really low level. And WASM, the actual like assembly language, doesn't provide you with anything of how to do like strings or arrays or objects or any of the other things that I want to use both in JavaScript and Go. But what they do provide you with, and I can just look at this file here. I'm using Bat, which is just a cat clone basically for people who aren't familiar. But what they do provide is if we look at the Go env in Go root, they give us a special file that is in this totally obvious path. Okay, they give us this JS file, which let's make it as big as I can. It's the glue between JavaScript and Go WASM. So it targets all of these different things. You can run it in browser, Node.js, and then it gives us like all kinds of helpers and stuff. And what we're really going to use it for is, I didn't want to figure out how to deal with strings as bytes, but this does it for me, because this is all very complicated and a good 500 lines of JavaScript.
Okay. Very cool.
So yeah. So what you have to do though is you basically want to copy this file to somewhere usable. Oops. So we want to do something like copy this file to our out directory. And now our out directory should have both a main WASM and a WASM exec.js file. Okay. And now that we have our WASM exec.js, we're like kind of ready to integrate this with JavaScript. So yeah, we have our files. We have a JavaScript file and a WASM file. And let's see if we can load them up together. So we're in a JavaScript file that's requiry, and that's totally okay. So the first thing we want to do is we want to require our WASM JavaScript file, and we're just going to do it pathy because it's easy. There we go. Okay, so we're going to require this file, and that's like if we were to rerun our server. Let's just move this a little bit over there. Awesome. If we were to rerun our server, it's going to tell us that there's an error. Well, that's not exactly what I expected, but that's okay.
That's never what we expect, but it's always where we end up.
Right? Exactly. Oh, I think it's relatively easy. I backpassed out, but I don't need to. Also, it's not called Go. It's called Go WASM because that's what we named the directory. So when we run it, we're in just the root of the repo. I don't need to /out, I think, to get to the right spot, but let's find out if that was the right guess. Nope. Oh, I see. I do need the 2 dots because I'm in source right now and I was missing WASM last time. Fingers crossed. Awesome. Okay. We can require our file.
Okay. Cool.
But if you'll notice, we're in our Go, we're still printing out some stuff.
Right.
Hello world is still getting printed, but it's not in our Node terminal yet.
Okay.
We have a few steps to go, but we're getting close.
Wait, hang on. So you're intending to use the Go file? I thought this was mostly just making the WASM available in your JavaScript, but you'll be writing Go in that Go file, or is that just to make sure the WASM is loading?
Which Go file? Our main.
So you said you want,
file?
yeah, you said you want this console output to come in your JavaScript. So there will be more code added in here. There is going to be Go written.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. That does not work
written.
how I thought it was going to work at all. Excellent. Here we go.
No, that was it. That was exactly what I was expecting. And all this in the back of my mind, I thought, oh, we picked the JavaScript starter snake because at least one, like between you and I, like I know a bit of JavaScript. You know, a bit of JavaScript. Like this will be fine. We're screwed. We're screwed for seven more episodes. But please go ahead, Corey. I'm excited to see how much I'm going to need to learn in the next 3 months to even keep up.
Welcome to Corey's Go School.
Exactly, and I don't even know Go, so this is a great school to be in.
Amazing.
Okay, so yeah, that's our first goal right now is I just want to see hello world output from Node, basically. So yeah, so we've imported our WASM helper file, our WASM exec.js helper file, and now we just like kind of magically have some things available to us, like this new Go JavaScript class that we can do Go-y things with. This is all just stuff that I copied from a blog post earlier today, but you know.
That's where I get all my code.
Yeah, so we needed our Go little helper, and then WebAssembly is, now we're doing a little bit more native to, and Copilot is just like nailing this for me, but that's okay. We're gonna use the WebAssembly helpers to compile something, and we need to read a file from disk. So look at that.
So Sorry, great comment
I'm
from
gonna-
Brad. Episode 1, Corey switches to Go and starts writing a StarCraft 2 AI instead.
Well, we would be powerless. We don't know what we're doing. We're just like,
Hey, I know
yeah,
StarCraft
great
2
snake.
rules, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I imported the file system, or required the FS so that we could read from our file system. This confused me earlier, so I'm going to explain it. The require here is relative to my file, so my index.js. So we got to go out a directory to find the Go wasm. But once I read from the file system here, we're relative to where I run the server from. And so we just get to go right to Go wasm. Cool. So we read our assembly file, do whatever compilation JavaScript needs to do to actually, be able to read its assembly file. And then we're going to make an instance. Yep, look at that. We tell it to instantiate the module that we just compiled, and we give it this Go import object. This is one of the things that we really needed that Go wasm exec JS helper for, is it's going to do all the glue between things. Like, it magically now knows how to do a console.log in Go because of this import object magic that someone else wrote for us. So that's really nice. So now we have our instance, and I think we can just tell Go to run it. And if we cross our fingers... Oh, okay. That's okay. I tried to cheat and wrote await just top level in JavaScript, but our JS snake right now is not set up to do this from the top level, so I need to wrap all this in a function. Okay, so now we have our function run that does everything we meant for it to do with some awaits and async. So I don't have to do promises and all kinds of then stuff in here is the goal. Oh, okay. Oh, that's just not the name of our file. This is the problem with Copilot, is it completes whole lines for me, and then I have to actually read them at some point or another. We named our output file.
Absolutely overrated.
Reading code? I know, right? Okay, maybe. Hey, look at that. That's a hello world line.
Amazing.
We can even prove to ourselves it comes from Go just a little bit more from Go. So let's now cd to our Go wasm directory so that I can build it. Could probably make this build script a little easier to use, but that's okay. Hey, look at that. We got a recompile and our from Go came across.
This is genuinely very excited about just the gates you've opened for all future participants in this show. Excellent.
Yeah. So I'm pretty just impressed that Go builds most of this in, right? I didn't do a lot of glue code, I felt like, here. And I can just from native Go.
That was I was expecting, I was gearing up to ask you, hey, what's the tool chain here? Is this from the WASM side, whatever it is? Yeah, very cool. That's just built in. And then you get the whole runtime in that big JS file as well. Very cool.
Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty nice. I also am pretty positive that it just does some magic. I think format.println is what you would call to log out in normal Go, and it just works natively in WASM without any changes, which is just fun.
I am really
intrigued
what the compiled for browser looks like.
Gary in chat, excited is one word.
Gary, look, consider this precedent. Find a way to make PHP compile to WASM and come on in.
I've been doing a lot of Rust compiling to WASM. If someone wants to get some Rust in this code base, all kinds of fun options.
Yeah. See, Rust and WASM, that's a path that is explored and I knew about. I did not realize.
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. So, where from here?
Yeah. So we've got one direction, right? We've got JavaScript kind of running Go, right? We don't really call into it, but it obviously ran our main function at some point. I think from here we want to be able to call a Go method from JavaScript. right? And eventually we want to be able to call that create next board state, I think is the goal. But let's start with calling a function that's maybe just a hair easier than this one. So I think what we need to do to start is we need to write a Go code that we want to call. Let's go to our Go code again. And I think we'll start out pretty easy. And we're going to make an add method that adds two things. And now we get to do some fun WASM, and this signature that Copilot gave me isn't what we want to do. So when you do this like JavaScript WASM over the wire, you need, first of all, I need to import another thing in Go. We don't just need format anymore. We now need to be able to do, they call it syscall/JS. So it's like kind of like I was making system calls on like Linux, but it's all through JavaScript. And what that import gave me that I want is things like this. JS.value is now a, oh man, I don't know.
Okay, hang on. I need to get the execution model line in my head now. So we've got Go compiling to WASM. So there's a Go module that's compiled as WASM that we're calling from JavaScript. But when that Go is compiled, it's compiling in. Is it going through to a JavaScript runtime to get these syscalls, or is it just using the JavaScript? Is it just compiling JavaScript API into WASM? Like, are we going back and forth to JavaScript here? Is what I'm getting at.
I think what this is doing is this is plugging in all this, not all, but a lot of the syscalls you might need to write Go code.
Yeah.
But makes them in JavaScript, right?
Okay.
So instead of doing a syscall to like open a file or whatever,
right.
I don't even know if opening a file makes sense because JavaScript, but you know,
yeah.
Instead of doing a syscall, it runs the JavaScript code and like translates your Go to JavaScript at compilation time, kind of.
Fascinating. Okay.
So what I'm using from it is I just want this JS value, which is just like their generic, it's something from JavaScript, and I don't really know what it is yet. The signature looks kind of JavaScripty in that the first argument is our this argument because of all of the this selfiness in JavaScript, and then we just get an args array. So an array of Java values we want to do something with. And this is like the interface we'll get, or this is the only interface I've used to talk between Go and WASM. So I don't actually know if you can provide a different one. I've always used this interface with args array style. But now that we're in here, we can write something. Oh man, Copilot is just nailing it today. So the first thing we'll do is...
You are the first person I've ever seen use it, by the way. I've actually, other than small little Twitter videos when it launched, I've never seen anyone use it.
I resisted trying it for a long time, and then the Vim plugin came out, and I got hooked. And it's pretty nice. I'm reading a lot more code than I'm writing now because I have to like double check it every time I use it. But you know, it's okay. Different.
I mean, that sounds positive to me, to be honest.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, but Copilot kind of nailed it. We're gonna print out an add just so that we like can prove we made it into this function. And then we're just gonna, from our args, grab the first argument, call int on it to change it into an integer. I think what's gonna happen is this is gonna like error out if we don't have an integer. And we're not gonna do any error collecting or anything, and we're just gonna blow right past it. And then we do the same thing. So we take our second argument, make it an integer, add them together, and we return a new JS value by calling JS value of from Go. So all we're really doing here is adding two numbers and returning them. But you know, the WASM part is what makes this a little more fun. So yeah, that's our Go function, and we can compile it, but unfortunately that won't make our add function available to JavaScript because we need a little more glue code first. But that's okay. So what we can do is in our main, now that we have the JS syscall, is I can do a line literally like this. So in JavaScript now, when this runs, we're gonna look at the global JavaScript object, like, you know, window or global or wherever you are in Node versus JavaScript. And we're gonna set a function on it. I could just call it add like this, but since we're in the global namespace, we're gonna like give it some kind of funky looking name just because we're doing global variables and we want to, be able to find this specially in JavaScript.
This is your gift to future participants.
I'll try my hardest to make it.
I've been so absorbed
possible.
by like how this is working that I've only just stopped to ask why we're writing a function that adds two things together.
Hey, we got to start with something.
That's not somewhere.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah.
We gotta call create next board state, but we gotta talk over the wire.
We're getting the glue in there.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
Exactly. We're learning how to parse JavaScript arguments and all kinds of fun stuff. Okay. So when we run our main, we can set this magic go add function, and then we tell it we want a function of this add function that we wrote down below. And then if we go to our JavaScript file, what we'll eventually want to do is once we call run, we'll like have this available to us. So we should be able to do something like this. We added in Go, and we call our go underscore add function all like just like it was in our global namespace, because it should be. And we just add some numbers together. Let's see if this works. Again, I need to go to my Go wasm directory and build it quick because we have to recompile. And let's see what happens in our. Okay, so what we get now is we're getting our Go add is not defined, and luckily I was actually expecting that, so we're not at a roadblock yet. But this is an annoyance I have with Go wasm. It's that how Go works with wasm is that kind of once main ends, you stop having access to anything in Go.
Oh, that's fascinating.
So,
okay.
And it has something to do with how Go routines work and stuff that I will be honest don't understand. But I know that when main exits, we lose scope to things and get weird Go routine errors if we still try to use them. So
you don't just throw this in a while one loop, do you?
No, but like almost.
Okay.
It's actually basically that. So I'm gonna steal this wait function that I wrote earlier from a blog post, and it makes a Go channel, which I don't like something about communicating across Go routines. Or I'm gonna pretend they're threads, but I know they're not exactly the same.
Concurrency, yeah.
Concurrency, yeah, exactly. And now we're going to do some fun stuff. This is all a little bit over my head, but like I think we can talk through it. We're going to go to our global JavaScript thing, and we want to grab the process object. And then we're going to call the on function to set a callback. And when you get a sig term, you're going to do something. Yep, we do want a js.func of because we want to change this function that we're about to write to JavaScript. And then we want this same interface, so that works. Oh, and look at that, Copilot. I think this happens so often in Go wasm that Copilot just knew exactly what to write.
This is the utility of it, right? It's doing new glue code for you.
Yeah. When you get a sig term from Node, we're gonna set this Go channel to true, right? So it like starts out as false or uninitialized. I think false because nothing's uninitialized in Go. Once you get a sig term, we set it to true. And then here's the part you were waiting for a second ago, right? We're just gonna essentially do a while loop, but with a little more, it's that. So while we do a for loop, forever essentially, when case is done, we return out of it. And if it's not done, we can just sleep for a little while.
And as long as when main is sleeping, all that stuff stays in scope.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah. So now what we have to do is we can just call our wait function from here. So yeah, now we should hang out here longer. And then like I guess what we could show is we will not get to this. Oh, that's fun. Buy world from Go. I like it. This shouldn't run right away, right? When we exit our server, we kind of expect to see this, but until then, we won't. Okay, let's see if we can still compile.
I've gone from like very impressed that all this stuff is built into Go natively to amazed at the extent of jank that the programmer is exposed to.
This one's nice and easy. I used time down here, but didn't tell Go I was going to use time. So let's tell Go I want time. Cool. We at least got it to compile, and let's see if we can run our server. Okay. So our Go add is still not defined, and I think what I did earlier to make this work was like even worse than our sleeping in the other spot is I now just go in our JavaScript and we sleep a little while before we start. There's probably a way to tell it that like I'm waiting for Go to like understand that it's done, or I could just not do that.
Yeah.
Hey Lizzie, nice to see you in the chat.
Hey Lizzie.
So we're just now going to await a new promise that resolves itself in a second. Love it.
Okay. Sorry, Corey. You keep going. We've got a couple of new viewers, so I'm going to briefly explain what's gone down. Hello, welcome to Coding Badly. Corey here is kicking off part 1 of 8 of our relay snake. So we've got 8 guests, all contributing code to one snake. And when we designed
out
this,
as a JavaScript starter,
we were like, we'll do it in JavaScript. Everyone knows JavaScript. And Corey has rocked up and is doing Go via WASM. So it's gone off the rails on episode 1, and we could not be more delighted. So this is a really interesting setup. So basically, Battlesnake, the Battlesnake rules engine is open source in a series of Go modules, because a lot of the Battlesnake engines are written in Go. And Corey uses it in development of Corey's more serious snakes, and wanted to have access to it in our JavaScript snake, and so has set up this delightful Rube Goldberg machine of Go compiling to WASM, and then what we've just done, which is I'm still reeling over, was if the main in the Go program ends, all of the functions in the Go program go out of scope in JavaScript. So there's a wonderful keeping the Go channel awake hack here, which is just absurd. So yeah.
And just for context, I totally expected it to go off the rails, and I knew exactly where it was going to go off the rails, and it was going to be when we had Penelope on the show. It was going to go wildly off the rails.
We're 5 shows early.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great like what 8-9 weeks or while for you guys. It's gonna be a fun thing.
Thanks, Corey. Thanks, friend.
Hey, you guys invited me on, not the other way around.
I'm delighted. I'm so happy.
So what we just did in the meantime was my run function, I made it return a promise that just sleeps for a second, basically. So then before we can actually try calling our Go add, we need to make sure that we waited the full second. So our run does a then, and then when our then's finished, we're going to try calling our we added in Go method. Oh, we called add. Did I not print out the result of add? Because that would be a little funny. Where does add get printed? Did that get printed from Go? Hey, look, we at least made it into our add function. Because we got our print line of add done, but in JavaScript, so that's interesting. We've now made it into Go, but we didn't make it back out from Go. Because we called our print line. Yeah, we got our print line from inside Go, from our add function, but why did it not return the value and get printed back in JavaScript? Interesting. See, so this is where I got to before stream, and I thought things were going to work. So now we get to do this a little more live, and I get to debug with everyone on stream.
They're all ready to be helpful.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so
they usually are. Coding Badly crowd usually keeps us on track.
It's true. I'm gonna add some print lines here. I'm gonna just have it print out our args. Let's see if we actually like can parse our integers in Go. CD to go wasm, build the thing, CD back out, and run npm start. Okay. So we're not printing out our arguments. Oh man, I was expecting that to work a little better. What if we just print out the whole args array? Do I get any args back from Go?
But we're still getting the hello world from Go, right?
Yeah, we're definitely in Go, right? Like we're not, and that add message comes from Go too, right? So somehow we were hitting this print line and then not hitting the following print lines and also not returning, maybe? But let's see, we just built our Go again. We're gonna go back. We almost made it back and forth. We were so close. What if we just wanted to, maybe there's not args getting returned. What if we just wanted to try out returning just a string? Let's run our build script. Okay. So we're just not getting anything back from our returns here. Give me a second while I look over at my other screen and see if I did something fun earlier that I forgot to do this time.
Do you have to handle the result in any specific way once it makes it back to your JavaScript app?
I didn't. So I thought part of the magic of this JS value of was that it just returned to me something that JavaScript just could at least handle. So I kind of expected it just to get logged out here. And I guess let's do this. Like we're definitely making it into this because, oops, I like wasm loaded. Because we definitely call into go add. But let's find out. And npm start. Yep. So we're in our callback and we're calling into add, but why is it not returning? Okay. Well, let's do what we always need to do here and go wasm not returning. Let's see what the internet has to say about this.
Now we're doing coding badly. Here we go.
Yeah. We're not getting a link error. Global functions from wasm not working from node. I expected it to be called. That doesn't even have a code sample. Yep, so this is what we're doing, right? We're making our JavaScript function. We set it as a global. They're having scoping issues where they can't call it. Yep, in Node, we can call it on global instead of window, but I don't think that's our issue. Global.add, yeah. Go.run result instance. Okay.
Have your Go called JS global?
Well, so, and we are, like, we have the global set call. Okay, yeah, you're not supposed to modify the JavaScript file, but we didn't do that because we knew not to do that.
Yes, we knew that.
We knew that one, of course, right? We all knew that.
If you're just joining us, we are using Go modules from a JavaScript app via WASM, and we're having some issues.
In episode 1 of 8 of a relay, where the following 7 guests will have to pick up after this. I feel like that needs to be on a soundboard, by the way.
I have
want a
tagged
button
Mason
to
in the
click?
tweet. Yeah.
The other interesting thing about this is when you look up all of this, I've not found very many examples of running this in Node. All of the examples are running it in
Most
the
people
browser.
do it in browser. That makes sense.
Which isn't bad, but just adds
You know.
a fun layer.
Yeah. You know, like that example, like the GitHub issue we were just running through, where you have, you get hold of, you have to use global rather than window.
Global.
Just little things that'll be a little bit different.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is the blog post you were referring to earlier?
This is one of the ones I had found earlier that I thought was going to tell me how to return things. Oh, see, and this is where they all do this. We're in HTML because it's all in the browser. But luckily, it's not Node and JavaScript are close enough that it works for the most part, but I'm not finding the thing that it's just not returning at all. We're not getting anything back over the wire. And our Go module, main.go, is returning. It returns an interface, which I thought was okay, but maybe we actually need to return something else from here. Let's go back to some of those examples that used add, because that's basically what we're working with. Yeah, see, so they have it returning an interface, but we could have it return a JS value. Let's try that. It's kind of interesting that we return an interface when we kind of know that we're returning a JS value. So let's just give this a shot and see what happens. Oh. Can't use add as type interface this in argument JS func_of. Oh, okay. Well, I guess that doesn't work. Apparently the signature for JS func_of needs to return just an interface here.
Okay.
Which I think interface is just like the most generic kind of like object in Go. It just doesn't tell you much information about what it is. Okay, but now we should be able to build it again, but that's not the most exciting because we didn't actually run our thing. Another thing that's moderately interesting is we don't see our done message, but I guess I'm not positive if I've ever seen the done message.
Yeah. Is it worth trying to resolve that? And maybe there's something getting stuck somewhere?
So yeah, so we have this whole fun, like it's trying to process the sig term and do all of this fancy stuff. And I wonder if we're having problems with that, but I don't see the other hackier way I've seen people do it. Oh, see, here's their wait. Everyone always has a wait method somewhere. Go, and then we call our set. Yep. Okay, that's not helpful at all. Okay, I'm not actually sure if I've ever seen that return message. So I don't know if that's a red herring worth going down or not. Let's see what I did over here in my Go code earlier. Yeah, I did my wait function just like this. Okay. Well, I can also do. I could.
So your Blue Peter code you tried earlier is built similar way to this.
It is, and let's just.
Oh,
we're
that's
gonna have some
that's
fun.
actually the worst.
Okay.
Did this bit work?
It did, and let's find out. I can go to my stream prep branch. CD. Oh, and then of course things are slightly different here. So it's called, the directory is called Go, not Go Wasm, because of course it is.
Future coding badly guests who are watching this, look at this level of prep. Take this. This is a very serious show with very serious guests.
Yeah.
You better put in the work. It's an honor to be here with people such as Corey.
Hey, look at that. Okay, so let's look at this code.
Okay,
and
cool.
see what might be different, because this ran.
Gary, that message just got auto-modded.
Okay, so let's look at what our Go code looks like. I think it's really similar. We moved this to an init function, which runs before main. Maybe that made a difference. I don't actually know. I was hoping it wouldn't. Our wait function does exactly the same thing. And our add function looks pretty the same as well. But in JavaScript, we are still requiring our helper. We have our async function run that I think calls the same thing, but maybe not. And then I moved the code down to the bottom here. Our then now goes and adds stuff from Go. We add 4 and 5 together, and we get 9 back.
It's because you haven't called this function add stuff. It needs the stuff. You've left out the stuff.
Yeah, I know, right? If you just add, that doesn't work. But adding stuff definitely works. But you know,
there's no, and I don't know why this would be the case, but there's not like one of those archaic environment variables that arcane environment variables that like we're missing or something, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think so. But let's just work from this branch for now. I think we've explained it, except for the bug that's deceiving us, and that's okay.
Yeah.
We'll get something pushed up
going on. Yeah.
For the repo.
Corey's just like, in half an hour, this isn't my problem, so this is fine. This is fine.
Exactly.
That's the energy we want all guests to bring to this relay, to be honest.
Yeah. Do I sound any better now to you folks?
You arguably, well, to me, you sound like you're about to smash on my screen, so...
Okay. So now we can call things in Go. So now it's time to like maybe actually bring our rules repo into this, because so far we haven't done that. Okay, so we need our repo. I think we just need the GitHub URL, and then I'm going to actually look at the repo in here's mod file for the syntax. You just put the URL in the file. Love it. It's just part of your import. Okay, awesome. So I have the repo URL in our Go file. I can just add in our module thing here. And then I think what we get out of here is now I should just be able to like call the things from the actual, nope, not Go. Where's like the main file in this land? How about we do this? We're gonna cheat a little bit, and by cheat I just mean I've already written this code in a different place. So like, let's just go look at it over there really quick. So the reason I've actually been doing WASM at all was because I wanted to write a fuzz tester for my Rust evaluation code that compared it to the Go code, and WASM seemed like the way to do it. But what I want to look at quickly is how we talked to our... Okay, so here's where we added our import. I just did that. And I just want to see where we... Oh yeah, we just have the rules repo, and we can just use all of its the things it provides to us. Look at that. It goes really nice. And like, I guess I could not write this code right now because I've already done it. We eventually are going to need to construct. We're gonna need to construct this board state from JSON that we got from you know, our JavaScript code. Yeah. I'm just gonna quickly steal this function.
Yeah, if there is anyone who is watching who has not seen a JavaScript, a Battlesnake at all yet, this is not the episode for you. So Battlesnake is kind of like you build the API, and then the Battlesnake server sends you a request with a JSON blob containing the current game state, whenever you're in a game. So our Node.js Express server will be catching a JSON blob from the Battlesnake game, which will contain the board, where all the snakes are, etc. And then that will be given to the Go rules module, which is what Core is currently integrating, and then used the various rules functions in there to generate next states, etc.
Yep. So what we have now is this board from JSON thing is like not written to be JSy, right? It like takes in actual Go strings and returns Go objects. We're gonna go with objects as the word there. So we need to do something that can like, you know, wrap the call from JavaScript a little bit with our nice JS value signature here. So we can just take the first arg, tell it it's a string, pass it off as a string, and return it. The cool thing about the interface is it just lets us return any Go object, and it just kind of works. And then I can just use them from JavaScript. It's going to be great.
That's what I love in my type system, just being able to return things that kind of works.
Yeah, right? Especially when you're talking about two languages with very differing type systems. It's great when it just works. Okay, so we have this game board from JavaScript, which is like kind of our first step. And the first thing we really need to do is we actually have to like make it available to JavaScript at all. And so we got to do this whole set thing. And then this is where game board from JavaScript with our little fun Go prefix. Okay, so now we're going to keep this add stuff in here because it sounds fun and it should be easy. But now we can actually like listen to a move request. So when we get a move request, the JSON is going to be in request.body.
Yep.
And let's actually look at what JSON I was expecting. I'm expecting JSON that fits the board state, which I think is just the whole JSON
Board,
object.
food, hazard, snakes.
Board, food, hazard, snakes.
And then also you should be somewhere?
Yeah.
Well, I guess you don't need it because it's in snakes. You might not be dealing with it. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Yep. That might be the case. Oh, yeah. Because, so yeah, you get U over the wire in the JSON, but the Go doesn't have a U. It just has snakes that it, can type underneath.
Hey, Devin. Thanks for joining us. Gary says you're going to unit test this whole thing, right, Corey?
Oh, yeah, for sure. We're definitely going to write unit tests. Yeah.
Devin's suggestion
I don't actually
is
even know how I would unit test this wasm clobber of code.
So Devin in the chat, when does the air gap Commodore 64 running assembly come into this? And I have just had a vision of within 500 milliseconds adding like some piece of hardware,
a robot arm to plug a USB stick in. Actually, talking about Commodore 64s, I did. Sorry, Corey, to completely
no, you're fine.
talk about nonsense. I did recently find out that Pico 8, the like Fantasy 8 16-bit machine, has GPIO with the hosting browser window of 128 bytes, and now I really want to try and make a Battlesnake in Pico 8. But anyway, sorry, where are we at now, Corey?
We are in our move handler from Express, and we're just going to try to call our Go game board from JavaScript function by passing it request.body, except request.body is probably a actual object here because we're in JavaScript. But can I just call, is toString on it going to make it a JSON thing, or is it just going to make it some weird
why
internal
put
representation?
Parentheses after body?
Good question. Because see, and this is where Copilot is bad. It's because it did it, and I didn't read the code close enough to stop it. So thank you.
No worries.
Okay, so let's just see if we can console.log out something that went from Go, parsed our board, and comes back. Let's go to our Go. Let's build it. Let's go. Oh, valid import path. I thought that's how you imported this thing. Oh, it doesn't. It probably doesn't like the HTTP at the beginning. It looks like. You don't tell it how to get to GitHub. You just tell it to get to GitHub. cd go. Okay, so there we go. Here we're downloading some Go from GitHub. We're doing some real stuff now. Module requires. I think that's fine. I don't know if I'm. Oh, I see. This thing is warning me about all of these other things that I didn't bring over when I copied that function from past code.
Encoding JSON, that makes sense.
Encoding JSON's one of them, right? We need to know how to do JSON encoding. And then the other thing it's mad about is more the fact that I have other helper functions here, like toPointArray and things that I need to steal. So these are just some helpers. Oh, that's fun. This first one, we just want to parse a integer from a float, I guess, and then we need to make some X and Y position arrays. And this is just kind of glue between JavaScript and Go. Let's see if that compiles. Hey, we got compilation. npm start. Okay. We have our Battlesnake. Now we actually need to like make a game. And get some move requests get sent in here.
Nice.
Should I just do that by making a snake?
Yeah.
How do we want to do that?
Or I can do that for you, so you can stay focused on your code. I can get that running in the background. Give me a sec.
Cool. Yeah.
Where did I do the thing? Okay, yeah. Keep going. I'll deal with that. Make myself useful.
Awesome. Yeah. So I think what we're gonna hopefully see, and no clue if it's gonna work yet, is we should see it just printing back out the parsed Go representation. So it should give us a console.log that looks more like the Go representation. And so if we can now go from a board state to a Go board object, we are pretty close to being able to call that magic method from the rules that was supposed to calculate a new board for us. And let's see where we're at. Oh, we got an info request. That's good. So yeah.
That wasn't from me yet.
It's okay.
What region do you want this in?
Oh, I don't think it matters too much.
Okay,
I'm on the East Coast if you're trying to be global or region specific, but
I don't know where Engrok is.
Oh, that's a great point. I have absolutely no idea.
Okay.
We'll just tunnel all the way across the internet a few times.
It's in the
Coding
US.
relay snake has been made.
It does actually say there region UN.
Oh, it does.
It's,
US. Somewhere in the US.
just US. Somewhere in the US.
Okay, that snake is up. I'll throw it in a game. Have you got the info request for it?
I did. Yes.
Perfect. Okay, and I'll briefly throw this game up over here. Boop. Okay, so it's in the Coding Badly Battlesnake team. If any of the Battlesnake team are watching this, bring back the teams feature. We used it on this show.
Oh, okay.
How are we going to identify them?
All right.
So have you put 3 on? Oh.
So it ran. We got some things happening. Okay. Interface conversion. Okay, so one thing is that we obviously got a panic error. The next thing is that this is kind of what I was mentioning at the beginning about the program having already exited. Once it errors, you start getting errors about it already having exited, and just now it can't do anything. So I don't know how you deal with this if you're wasming in something that is not a throwaway project.
No errors allowed, Corey. That's
difficult.
obvious.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right? Never have an error. But let's see if we can look at what actually went wrong here. So ours is from when we called board from JSON, interface conversion. We got something that was nil and was not a map of strings to interfaces. Okay.
That was a selection of words in quick succession, and I don't fully understand. I don't fully understand those words together.
Something went wrong.
Something
No, I
went
got
wrong.
that.
I think that's the
A map of
gist.
strings
So-
into an interface.
So I think interface is how I just think about it as just a Go object. So we got a Go object that
Generic.
was nil, and we expected it to be a map of strings
Sure.
to other generic objects. And that map at least maps to this. So I think that when we tried to unmarshal our JSON, it didn't work. Very technical answer there. And I'm wondering if it's because my toString here. My toString in JavaScript probably isn't going to give me an actual JavaScript formatted thing, is it? It's just going to give me some like.
It's just a string.
Yeah, it's just a string. So what do I want? Is that how can I make this to an actual JavaScript? Is there just a toJSON method? How do I do this in Node?
It should come in. It depends what's happening behind the scenes of this. It's right
so
there.
let's do
See line 17, where we app use express JSON. That means rec.body is JSON already.
Well,
So
it's a
rec.body.
JSON. It's gonna be a parsed object, right? If I want to go back to a string,
then to string is what you want, or wrap it all in a string
Okay.
method. But either's
Okay.
fine.
yeah. Okay, so I think this at least does what I think it does. I started my server again. Can you push another game for us, maybe?
I'm
And
on
we'll
it.
see if our error message has changed.
Coding Bandit Battlesnake. Relay. Start game.
Okay, cool. We errored, but that was what we expected.
There's an object there. Move right. Board from Go.
So we called start. That must be what this is, and then we get object.
Yeah.
So I have two print lines. I have printing the body, and then I have printing the body to string.
So the bit you're looking at is for the start. That's from the start handler. You've got the move handler a little bit further down. So that's from that.
Yep.
Sorry, go back to the error.
Yeah.
You
so
want
this
to?
come from my. Oops.
That's just coming from the start handler. So the start handler, you're just printing out the request body, because that's the start endpoint being called there. But
Gotcha.
the call to the
Start,
move is a little bit further down in the error message. There you go. So you did get move 0 right, and then you have object.
Sorry, I'm not seeing move
Oh,
0 right.
right,
yet.
that-
oh, there
that
it is.
line
I
you're
see.
on
I
there,
see.
yeah.
Right here.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. And where did that come from? That's probably just in the starter snake somewhere, right? That's probably in logic
Yeah,
over
that'll
here.
be-
That I haven't been. That I ignored a tiny bit. Yeah. So in move, we're gonna then eventually print out. Yep. RID moved in
yeah.
a direction. Got it. Okay.
Correct.
And that's all gonna happen here, right? When I
Yeah.
call the move.
Actually,
that
I should actually see
also-
what happened in this game. Oh yeah, it just ran right into a wall.
Yep. So if we have the move, what? Oh yeah, and here we go. Forward from Go. It didn't work, but it at least printed out my undefined for me.
Yeah.
So what I'm curious about is where are these logs? Where are these two?
One of them is the object. So
Right. So that's the object. But I only see one.
they're in between. So you've got move 0 right, object, and then you've got a chunk of error, and then there's another object under it. So yeah. So now if you scroll down,
Yep.
there.
But isn't this? I was assuming that this one was now from the next move
One of
call
them should
Oh.
not be.
server.
Yeah.
It-
Right?
One of
Will
them
it
shouldn't be.
will it be from the next move? Because you should then have another move printed by the logic, right?
That's an
If it was
interesting
from-
point. Yes.
If it was from the next move,
Yep.
you'd have the next. Yeah.
But maybe not though, because I'm erroring in Go, which probably then errors in JavaScript. And
You know, a
may not
really
make
easy
it
way to solve
to
this
those
would be
code paths.
to label those print statements.
Okay. Okay. Here. This is the plain one, and then this is the 2-string one.
All right, next game coming up.
Great call. Oops. There we go.
Okay. Am I good to hit play?
Yep, you're good. Okay. Oh, look, we actually got more things this time. You know what?
Wait,
you know what happened?
So, go on.
I never refreshed the server. We were looking at stale server code.
Okay, cool. Oh, perfect.
So,
we have a game
okay.
state.
Okay, so we have a game state. That also explains why calling 2-string wasn't doing the right thing, because Go was just getting the string object object, which is definitely not what we wanted it to get. So I can try.
I'm also being silly. Sorry, that isn't how you turn a JSON object to a string. You do JSON.stringify and then you pass in rec body.
Yes, thank you.
Sorry, you asked me and I was confident. It was my one contribution to today.
No, it's okay. I couldn't remember how to do it either. Yes, so that's what I want to do. Now I shouldn't need these necessarily. We just JSON.stringify the body, pass that to Go, and we're going to see what we get back out. Okay.
Question from Hugh.
Let's start this server again.
Hugh says, it looks like the errors in Go are swallowed and then the Go process exits without you having seen the error. Is there a way to wrap the whole program in a try catch and print the error to console.error? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense. I think, though, we actually are seeing the Go errors.
Okay.
It's this panic. It's not getting caught in a way where I could like programmatically do anything about it.
But you're seeing it. Yeah.
But I do think we at least see the error. And there probably is a way to do some try catching. But I don't know how to do that with this setup. So let's just run another game and see where we're at right now. Hopefully, we're going to go and back if we could get another game flung at this.
Sorry.
Hey, Joe, can you click another game for us? Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I coughed through you saying that, and it took me a while to realise you would ask me to run the game.
I thought we were just waiting here patiently for you.
No, I was just like, my brain took a while to catch up. There you go.
Okay, we ran it. We panic value of invalid value. Man, this is a fun time. Okay, so we called value of on something invalid. What are we calling value of on from Go? No, nothing. We're not calling the value of method at all. Yeah, that's.
Is that something that's being called in that runtime?
Very, very possibly. And it also, we are calling it. Wait, no, we're definitely calling it in at least one spot because we call it. Oh no, that's func of, not value. Okay. Yeah, it must be called. Oh yeah, and you can actually kind of see that, right? Because we're in syscall.js,
right?
Func Go. Yeah, it definitely seems like we're in there. So something couldn't get put to a value, and maybe that's because I tried to just. Where is the code I'm looking for? In this board from JSON method, I just return a full board state, which is like a deeply nested Go struct, right? There's like other Go classes inside here. And it probably didn't like that when I just tried to return it from here. So let's try to do something a little easier just to see if we're actually getting all the way through. So instead of returning the entire thing from here, let's just try returning what turn we're on, just to see if we can parse it both ways through. Okay. CD to go. Let's build it. Let's go back out. Okay, let's try one more game. Let's see where we're at.
Okay, I heard it that time.
Hehehe.
Oh no, not two of them. Start game. Hello. Sorry, Battlesnake said no.
My ngrok says it's not expired.
There we
go. Hey, look!
Oh, look at this. Nice.
It worked. We're getting turns back. Obviously, we're not doing anything with it in Go yet.
No, but I mean, we have.
But we made it. We made it back and forth.
And now, we're not yet calling any of the function in the rules engine, right?
We are not yet. No, but I think we're. Let's do it. Let's call something from the rules engine.
So we've got the next.
What do we actually want to do?
Well, I mean,
Sorry,
I think
were you gonna say?
the next. Yeah, I was gonna say I think the next board state is feasible, right? Because we're getting our next move from the logic.
Yep.
And we've got the current state.
Yep. So let's do next board state JS just to call it that. Let's get some just this going up, and then all of a sudden, there we go. I was kind of waiting for it, and it didn't come. Okay, so let's say that I just want to make a var for our board, call it a board state. I then can, I think, just do board equals getting it back out from there. There was probably a way to do that in one line, but it's okay. And then we want to call, what's the actual Go thing called again? Because we're going to do standard, because that feels like a good place to start. And we want create next board state. So I think what we want to do is next board state. Oh yeah, that's how I do these things. This is going to want that. So next board state is going to be, I think I can just call into standard dot create next board state. I want to pass it the current board state. And now I also need to pass it some moves. And I think
normally
we should
this
probably
would
just
take.
get those.
So when it's I was going to ask this earlier, but completely forgot. So it's multiple moves. Is that moves by multiple snakes, or is it multiple moves of one snake?
Snakes or moves by multiple snakes. So you could
Cool.
say I go right, my opponent goes left, or
Great.
or whatever makes sense.
And does it need the
Cool.
snake ID? How does
So-
it know which snake is doing which move? Is it snake ID? Is it a
Yeah,
full snake
let's
object?
look at it.
Cool.
So it has the snake move object, which is obviously not defined in this file.
Sorry, I'm taking you off road.
No, it's okay. That's the point of the stream here. Where do we define this in the Go repo? There we go. In ruleset.go.
Perfect. Right.
Yeah, so ID and move. Two
Cool.
strings.
Yeah.
Nice and easy.
Perfect.
Okay, so we're going to do kind of the same thing where we grab it as a string from our args list. And then what I think I want to do is I'm going to do the same thing I did here. I want to make a moves, which is an array of rules.move. Moves. And now I have to do something a little bit. I have to get the actual from JSON bits, which I have here. We got to unmarshal it into something, which is a fun time. Unmarshalling is just just taking the straight, taking the straight things from, oh, I didn't copy what I meant to. That's fine. It had my back. So I want to take our, oh, and I can't use the same name here. This needs to be something different. So I have moves as a string, and I want to change that, unmarshal it from JSON into the actual moves, an array of moves objects. So then I can pass this through. Oh yeah, I could have made this board string instead of, that's fine. It's fine. Naming is okay. Okay, so now what do we actually want to get back from JavaScript, right? So we made the move. What does JavaScript actually want to get back from it? Does it want the whole board state?
So how
Good
does this
question.
returned board state show us if we died?
Yeah, that's the best question, right? So the returned board state, let's look at the Go repo. So I think what happens, yeah, we can actually look at it right
eliminated.
here.
Cool. Yeah.
Yep, we both saw it. So in that snake array will get an eliminated cause and turn and eliminated by if you're eliminated. So maybe what we should do is just return whether you were eliminated as a place to start. Yeah, that sounds great. I might also try to cheat, and I might. We can pass another arg through. That's okay. It's fine. We'll just pass a third arg. That's our ID, so that we know what snake we're looking for. So we got our next board state. So in our next board state, I want to look at the snakes. Ooh. I don't want sort. I want to like go select from array. How do I get one thing out of an array in this language? There's no one-liner like in Ruby. Come on, go.
Gophers in the chat? Any gophers? Who
Yeah.
knows answer?
String to has prefix. Oh, I can just grab it out by index, but I guess I don't know the index. That's the whole point. Well, I could just say that we're always going to do the first one.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah,
That's fine.
Okay. We're just going to do this. This is me. And then I want to return whether me dot, what is it, eliminated by, or any of these, right? I just want to check if any of them have a thing. So return if eliminated by equals empty string. I'm pretty sure empty string will work because Go inits everything to something and strings become empty strings. So if you're not eliminated, you're going to get an empty string. If you're eliminated,
Right.
You're going to get a value. If you're not, you're going to get an empty string.
Perfect. Makes sense.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Okay. Let's try to write the last bit in Go. We need to expose this.
Okay.
We need to make this function callable.
Oh, I'm so excited. What's super nice about this is like, it feels like you've got it to a point where it's just like this really nice little utility sitting here for anyone else in the future who just wants, like, I don't want to work out how this works. I'll just call the next board state Corey set up.
I'll just call it and Go. Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so hopefully, actually, before I just say hopefully, let's see if we can actually compile this, because that would be helpful. Undefined, all kinds of things. Cool. No new
variables on the left side.
Okay. That's fine. I think that's just because I don't know Go syntax, but I think I know what to fix. It doesn't like that I declared this variable and then used this syntax to assign to it. But I think that's the only place I did that. Cool. Got rid of that error. Undefined method next board state. But didn't I just this isn't the right method. What did I want here? This doesn't want to call the next board state. This wants to parse the board state. This wants this.
Board from JSON. Cool.
Board from JSON.
We'll blame that
So
one.
I have my string. I know, right? And now we're getting really close. Rules.move is not a thing. Which rules.move is here, but that kind of makes sense because it was actually in rule set. So do I need to do rule set.moves? Let's find out. Nope, now it doesn't know. Now it doesn't know where rule set or standard are from. Okay. It's okay, because again, we're gonna go back to here and standard. How do I actually do this? Rules.standard rule set. Okay, so everything starts with rules, and then we gotta call the right name of things. That makes sense, because rules is actually not just, it's the name of the actual go whole shebang. So is that what I need? Rules.rule set. Well, now what are you mad about?
Oh,
56.
syntax error. Okay, so it needs one.
Is it just that am I? But what's the syntax error?
It said unexpected. There's an unexpected dot separator somewhere.
Period. At the end of a statement.
At the end?
That's what it says, right?
But now this is without the. You've gone back to rules.move.
Okay, but let's just look at this. Where do I get move from here? Oh, it's called snake move. Of course. Okay, so rules.snake move, and then I think the other one is the standard. If I just look here, do I have another one of these? Yeah, so it's standard rule set. It's more like rules.standard. Let's try that. Oh, so close. Rules.standard. Okay, so we just need to look at this Go repo. How do you actually call into things? Let's see what the CLI does really quick. Rules dot eliminated by rules dot rule set, rules dot royale rule set, rules dot standard rule set. Do we then call something on standard? Oof, there's a lot of stuff here. Yep, so we have a standard. That we could have made a royale. We could have made squads. Yep. Well, there's where we get a board state. Oh, we just call rules dot. Here's a create default board state method, but I don't want the default board state. I want the create next board state. Oh, so you call it on a rule set. Okay, that makes sense. So we just are going to steal this code. We just want a standard rule set for the moment. Yep. We don't need to worry about anything else. And then instead of all of this, I want to call that. We're going to make a thing, call create next board state on it, pass it all the things.
Oh no, now we need to find that whole object.
Oh no. Oh no. But that's fine. That's fine. I don't know. What's the normal food?
Yeah, just throw some.
I don't know what usually goes in this value.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a value.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. That can be future person problem.
We can have 3 food.
It's been it's been integer. We're learning.
5. 1 variable, but standard returns 2. Oh, okay. It probably returns an error that we're gonna throw away. Go likes returning errors like that.
2 variables for 1 value. What?
Wait, wasn't that just the thing I tried to fix?
The other way around. It was Yeah.
Cool. Mm-hmm. I tried, but I didn't fix it successfully.
Okay.
Use board as
rules
type
board state
pointer to
as a
board.
pointer. Okay.
I'm guessing that means pointer. So like, do I need to just like, I don't know, if this was Rust, I would do that.
That seems fine.
Aha! I like when I don't know a language, but another language is close enough.
Yeah.
That it works out.
Paradigms, baby.
And yeah. Okay. I guess actually we compiled our Go, but now we should actually like use it. Okay, so we were able to call the board from JSON, but that's not what we want to do anymore. I need to find what I magically called this function, next board state JS. So we're going to call this function. We're going to give it our board. And the other thing we're going to give it, let's just make this a little easier to read. The other thing we're going to give it is we're going to stringify something. But what we want to stringify is the moves is an array with an object. I think it was ID something.
Yeah.
Move, let's just say right.
Okay.
This ID is going to be from the request, get the body, get the U, get the ID. Yep.
Cool, and that's all going into next board state. Okay.
Yeah, and this will just tell us if right is going to be an alive move. And let's just print it out and let's see. Right will be alive. Okay. Let's see what happens.
Fingers crossed.
I know, right? Okay, we're at least running here. Let's
okay,
try.
ready for the game?
Yep.
Here it comes.
Hey,
yeah!
Look at that. It actually like seems to work. At one point we were not.
Well, so now,
alive,
like, why don't you just throw the actual call to logic in there instead of using pre-write? Oh wait, hang on.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh yeah.
The current logic is only avoiding the first neck and avoiding walls. So I guess that's a valid thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so like, yeah,
That's
but you're
so
right
cool.
though. We could
Yeah.
do, what is
Could actually do
move
move.
returning? It's going to return an actual,
It's returning a direction.
it's going to return something slightly different, right? It's just returning
move.
directly the direction? No,
No, it will be
move
returning
the
it as
direction.
it is return. Yeah, move. Yeah.
Object, right? Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So what I could do is just like const chosen move. Let's just do this really quick. This doesn't like make sense to choose a move and then check if you're gonna die, but you know, that's
Yep.
okay.
It's fine. We're leaving building blocks for the next person.
Yeah. And then this would be chosen move, except it's not just chosen move, it's chosen move.move. And then I guess we just still need to send chosen move, even though we're not doing anything with it.
We can check if that says alive in the future and then do a different move or something. I don't know. That makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. We're getting there. Okay, I'm ready for a game when you are.
Perfect. The rematch button is not working. That's fun.
Well, there we go. Well, my console is confusing because it always says right, but
Of course, yeah. But we can see it was
think it's
true until
working.
it wasn't. Wait, hang on.
well, wait, yeah, why
No,
do you get
hang
two
on.
every time? That's a little interesting.
So let me put the game up. And we have run over time a little bit, so do let me know if you need to bounce.
It's okay.
Cool.
Oh yeah, I'm okay for the moment, but we can wrap up here shortly.
Okay, cool. 1 sec. Okay, so here's the game. So it does go up alive. So live on turn 1, live when it goes left, and then it goes through the roof. So that shouldn't have been alive.
Well, it wants to go
And
left.
you've got move 2 up, and it says alive.
Yeah, move 2 up, and then it says it would have been alive. And we're passing this through. What type of game shouldn't matter though?
Oh, that was standard.
You're just doing
You're
standard
not running it
game?
on wrapped.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, hang
And-
on.
Yeah.
Where's the rule? This isn't something we've done wrong in the rule set, is it? Where we defined that rule set.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. We did define it as a standard rule set though, and I guess let's find out how wrapped works.
Yeah, they haven't.
So
The
Wrapped
introduction
has
of
its own
wrapped
rule
hasn't
set?
added some like walls boolean that needs to be true or something, has it?
Well, wrapped has its own rule set that
Okay.
wraps the standard rule set. So I think by
Amazing.
just having standard, we shouldn't
We
be
should be
running the
fine.
wrapped rule set.
Interesting.
Hazard damage, minimum food spawn. That doesn't seem as relevant.
Yeah, no, none of that should be affected. Oh, unless
Eliminated.
it's-
Well, let's. This is interesting. Eliminated by. What if eliminated buys doesn't work? What if I ran into myself? Like I don't know how eliminated
Yeah.
by gets populated.
Right.
Maybe we want to do something different.
Okay. Cue the next game.
Let's try one more. Build it. Oh, it's not called eliminated turn. 1 second.
It was a good guess.
That was. I thought that was right. It's probably just in. Actually, rule set. That's where it lived. Rule set. Eliminated. On turn.
Okay.
Oh, so close. So close. Eliminated. On turn. Okay.
Great.
Build it. Ooh.
Oh, it's meant to be.
Oh, that
of
makes
course,
sense.
it's meant to be. Yeah. So
We
zero?
changed the thing.
This is the default
Yeah.
value that you're using here, right?
Yeah. Like that was my goal, right? Because everything is initialized. It has to be initialized to 0. So if you're eliminated on turn 0, you're gonna still be alive. I think that makes sense. I don't know. Go.
Sure.
Let's find out.
Okay. All right.
Okay. I'm ready when you are.
Hitting it.
Oh,
Still said it'd be alive.
we still say alive every time, but we are round tripping, and making some
Fascinating.
progress. We're not erroring in Go, so
No.
I'll take a
So
tiny
it's just
win out of it.
some small little logic thing somewhere is not working out.
Yeah.
Can you I know we're at time, but I guess like one test we should do is
Yeah.
try just like running the function on with a known board state with a known dead move and see what happens. But that's probably something for another time.
Yep.
But this has been
maybe I'll get a
fascinating.
Well, someone asked for unit tests earlier. Maybe we'll get a unit test pushed up at some point.
Yeah, for sure. We can definitely.
Oh, and I'm just looking at chat now, but I agree that I like result T much better than Go's error handling.
Yeah. Is result T an option type? I haven't played with Rust yet.
Yeah, it's similar to an option. You usually have result T and then error, so you either get your result or your error type back.
Cool. Okay, awesome.
But yeah. Well, this was a lot of fun. We almost got
incredible.
It
working. Yeah. I mean, we're definitely calling the function. It's just there's something interesting happening there.
Yeah.
Next board state does.
We're close.
So it just returned. The next board state contained whether. Hang on, what else was in? So can you go back to?
We can also
just look at what next board state actually returned. Because where are we getting? Oh, we're then doing me eliminated on turn. Okay. Oh, and then we're getting snakes. Yeah. Okay, I understand. Okay. Yeah. So it feels like it's in that return bit.
Right, it does. I want to see. Let's try one more thing before we wrap up here. Oh, of course, this is going to work. So we were doing the comparison in Go, right? We were saying when the eliminated on turn equaled something. But what if we just returned it and did that in JavaScript?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I'm actually just gonna print it out still because we're not even operating on it. Let's do this. Chosen move. I was annoyed that it kept saying right, and that was a lie.
Makes sense.
Build that. Okay. Let's see what we're at least getting back, and then maybe we'll be good to either fix it or wrap up. I'm ready. Oh, we'll be alive 0. Okay.
And that's all the way to the end.
We're getting
we don't
zeros
get the
back
turn, it
all the time.
dies. Yeah, it ran into its tail there at the end. That last up move took it into its tail. Huh.
Yeah, and we're still saying that it didn't do that. Well,
interesting.
We're really close. There's definitely some
close,
small bug hiding.
Yeah.
But I think we almost made it.
I think we'll call it there for now.
Yeah, I think so.
Would you like to give us a quick recap of the madness you have unleashed upon us?
Yes, let's do that. Okay, so the main goal here was that I didn't want to think about the rules of Battlesnake in JavaScript, or really at all. Yep. And I wanted the rules repo to do it for me. So what we did is we created a little Go module up here with some helpers. But basically what we're doing is we're trying to compile to WASM for JavaScript, give it some functions that JavaScript can call into Go. So like trying to figure out the next board state from a set of moves. And then so far, what we're doing in JavaScript is when we get the move, we're trying to ask Go what's going to happen next, see if we were alive, and then the idea was if we weren't alive, we would maybe choose a better move or something. And that's where we ended up. We took a while doing WASM and getting the compilation to talk between JavaScript and WASM. But we made it that far, and now we're just... I think so. And now we're just close to figuring out what the last bugs are here. But we made it pretty far.
I can think of at least 2 names in our lineup that will be delighted to find they have access to the rule set, so that's wonderful. And genuinely, like as we said, a big part of doing this relay here on Coding Badly is working out when and how this would go off the rails and which guest would take us there. And I am genuinely delighted by the nonsense you have brought to play with us today, Corey. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun. Thanks for everyone who tuned in and hung out with us.
A little bit of wrap up that we'll probably have to talk about after as well. Being the first person committing, and also introducing some toolchain to this, we're going to have to probably get some instructions from you as well as the code. So I guess we'll be looking out for a PR with what we need to run to build this. Cool. Awesome.
Yeah. We'll either have at least a README section, maybe a script. We'll have a PR open this afternoon.
So at the bottom of the README, which I'll paste again in the Twitch chat. There's a technologies used so far section, and I did not. We've already added Go on WASM to it. Perfect. And the Battlesnake rule set that deserves a link in there as well.
Yeah.
Before I let you go, Corey, is there anything you would like to tell the audience about? Anywhere they can find you on the internet? Anything you'd like them to take a look at?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at CoreyJA_dev, or more actively in the Battlesnake Discord. You can find the Battlesnake Discord at battlesnake.com, I think, and come hang out with me over there. Happy to chat and say hi.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, and I will let you go and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, you as well.
Alrighty. Well, folks, that was the first episode of the Battlesnake Relay, and thank you again so much to Corey and Kevin. Kevin had to dip halfway through, but really appreciate both my co-host being here and, of course, our first guest kicking off the relay in absolute style. Super delighted. What is coming next in the relay? Let me throw up our wonderful schedule yet again for you. So just a reminder that you can find all of the schedule of the relay and the code that our guests have contributed at github.com/jonash/coding badly relay. The next up on the schedule, we have Mason Egger from DigitalOcean, partners of Battlesnake this year. I know a little bit of what we're working on with Mason. Oh, pardon my cough. Let me mainline another Strepsil. Mason's going to be working on the deployment story for this little Battlesnake we've got going on here, so we've already added some fun components for that. And then after that, we have Gary's been hanging out in the chat, and sorry, Gary. We're very sorry. And then we have Naomi, NH Carrigan, and Penelope Zone. And that is our schedule running up to mid-April. We have 3 more slots yet to announce. I can tell you that one of those got locked in earlier today, and I'm very excited. A amazing coding streamer is going to be joining us for one of those. And I believe we have another one imminently lined up, but we do have one more slot. So if you're watching this and you're like, I want to see what happens at the end of this relay, I want to be the last person to get my hands on this thing, that slot could be all yours. Just let me know. We'll have a chat, see what you want to do, get you into the relay. That would be wonderful. So, last thing I want to mention, well, 2 things I want to mention. First of all, Spring League registration is open. The games have not yet started, so you've still got time to get a snake in and to get in right at the very start and to maximize your chance for the points. Spring League is going to be a lot of fun. Let me go over to my browser and have a look at what the webpage has to say about the Spring League. So, Spring League is always an enormous amount of fun. Every seasonal league is an enormous amount of fun. But super excited to kick off 2022. We've got a wonderful suite of partners this time. There's a prize pool. There's the trophies are back. And of course, the new game mode that we showed off earlier with Corey Snake hovering Hobbs. The wrapped game mode is the big new thing for this year. There being no wall collisions. Snakes can go through straight out the other side. It's going to be really interesting to see what everyone does with this game mode. And if you're just getting started in Battlesnake, never been a better time. You can't crash into the walls. What could be easier? Taken out a whole new suite of errors, and definitely haven't introduced any additional complexities. It's a simpler game all round, really. You would definitely want to get involved right now. So go sign up for Spring League. Games will be starting soon, but it'll be running all the way through until March 27th. And the other thing I wanted to talk about was, is it on this page? It's not on this page yet. Give me a sec. The Caster Cup. I don't know how I get to it from the website yet. Did I already come? Nope. I don't know how to get to it on the website. Hang on a sec. Hang on. I will go to my own Twitter to find the link. But the Caster Cup is back. So if you've seen it previously, the Caster Cup has been a thing on Snake Pit Live between the casters, Aileen, Chris, Curtis, and myself, where you could enter your snake into allegiance with each of the caster houses. It's got a bit of a twist this year. Is this on the blog? I think it's on the blog. No. I genuinely don't know where this is. I'm going to send it to myself. There we go. Caster Cup. New twist this year. How it's going to work is as a tournament in the Caster Cup. There is going to be a tournament with, I believe, 32 Battlesnakes, 16 Battlesnakes taking part. Nope, sorry, 8 Battlesnakes taking part. But there is a North American and a European conference, so basically 2 group stages. So snakes from North America, snakes from Europe will enter into 2 qualifying group stages. The best snakes amongst those will be selected to go forward to the tournament. Little thing I want to mention here. The two conferences are named after North America and Europe, just because that's where the majority of Battlesnake players are, and that's where the casting team are from, and it is the casting cup. I'm going to be claiming, difficulties the whole way through because I'm the sole European caster, and the other three are North American, so obviously I'm disadvantaged. But that does not mean you have to be from one of those places to enter. If you are not from North America or not from Europe, you get to pick your side. Who do you want to support? Obviously, you want to support the European team. We need your help, so you're going to want to enter that. But whatever one you enter, you'll be entered into those group stages with 32 other Battlesnakes. You'll go through. We'll cast a day of games on Snake Pit Live. The first Snake Pit Live coming up on February 12th. That weekend, the Saturday on that weekend, it's North America, and then there'll be Europe, and then after that there'll be a big tournament with the leading snakes from North America and Europe representing their conferences. So super excited for this new format. You can see the schedule all on this page. I'll drop this in the chat. And oh, look at that, Battlesnake's in the Twitch chat with a shortcut. Thank you, Battlesnake. So that is everything for me. I'm going to get up here before I continue coughing on you all. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for joining us for our first Battlesnake Relay. Thank you, Corey, for running the first Battlesnake Relay. And we will see you in 2 weeks' time for Relay Guest number 2 with Mason Egger from DigitalOcean. Thank you so much.